Am I live? Yes, I am live. So, here's a little live stream that I had wanted to do yesterday, but hold on a sec here. Let's turn this up a little bit, shall we? Yeah, I had wanted to do this live stream yesterday, last night, but I fell asleep while putting the kidlet to bed, and didn't wake up until this morning, which sucked on two levels. One, I didn't get to do this live stream, and two, my wife is actually home, and so we didn't get to talk much because I was snoozing. That's new. That bookshelf thing is new. I got another identical one over there. There's an IKEA desk. Here's another shelf. There's a desk for the kidlet. It's like IKEA Wonderland in here, just because it's affordable. And we decided to get this place organized so that Camille will have a place to do her homework. That's not the kitchen table. So what I'm doing is I'm getting some of my books out of storage finally. We've been living here for, I guess, 3 years now. And most of my books have been in boxes. So I'm going to take some of them out. And some of those books are my my bushcraft and survival tomes. The box that I've just opened also has a lot of books that I edited when I was working at Reader's Digest. So it's funny to see these books again after a whole bunch of years, you know? I know that I'm early in the day on a Saturday, so there's probably not a lot of people watching, but you know, I'm gonna leave this up. I know some people, Scrambled O, take their live streams down as soon as they're done, but I'm not gonna do that. Because when I was doing my, excuse me, my Google panel discussion, my Google Hangouts panel discussion last week or the week before, Scrambled O just popped up with a live stream at the same time. Killed my audience, I don't blame them. But then I went to watch his live stream afterwards to see what it was about, and it was gone. So, I don't know. Wow, this is more stuff that I did. Okay. No problem. So, since I'm doing this, like I just threw a few things up to get them away, you know, off the ground. But as I said, I discovered a lot of my sort of the books that I had bought, you know, while I was getting set up for bushcrafting. Oh, funny story. This morning, I was watching. I was doing the dishes, and on my laptop, Joe Robinette's part 2 of his wild camp with Scout and all that meat was playing. Camille walked up, looked at the screen and said, "Does he watch Scrambled O?" And I said, I think they might even know each other, you know. My tea's over there, I'll be right back. Oh, tea's a good drink. Anyways, it was just funny, you know. She now she watches, or now like when she catches me watching one of my my YouTubes, she always sort of looks at them through a Scrambled O lens. Hold on, I think I have. I'm just seeing if anyone's making comments. Hey, Austin's Corner, how's it going? So let's just take a look at some of these books that I've got. One, I mentioned this one during the Google Hangout, my panel discussion, because that discussion was about shelters. I would love to find a place this year to build like a semi-permanent shelter. Like maybe, I don't know. I've done a couple of videos. If you guys saw the video where I carved a knife out of maple for, it was for a giveaway. This was a year or two ago now. Whose giveaway was it? Bushcraft Barton's. If if you guys saw that video, that was on a piece of land owned by one of the missus's work friends. I mean, it's kind of, you know, hey, you want to let me build something on your land? A little crass, maybe, but what I'm writing down here is I've decided that after this live stream is over, anyone I mention, I'll put down below. You know, so I mean, like, okay, I just mentioned Joe Robinette and Scrambled Oat. They don't need my help, but I feel that I like to view the YouTubes as a network, you know. So if people are linking to each other, I just think it's good, because maybe someone here doesn't know Scrambled Oat, you know. I was just looking off screen. I figure since it's here, Cody and I finished our Lego Y-Wing. Always had a soft spot in my heart for the Y-Wing, ever since that first movie when I was 5 years old. This took an epic long ass time though, because it's for 8 and up. Camille's only 6, and it's like, I'm trying to remember how many pieces it was. Oh, I'll just go and take a look at the box. 891 pieces. 691 pieces. And like, we couldn't do it every night because, you know, Tuesday is swimming night and blah blah blah. Austin's Corner is trying to get up the motivation to do something with his day. I'm opening boxes of books, buddy. If that doesn't motivate you, nothing will. The wicked system that came through the northern lake states yesterday. I don't know about that. We got rained on pretty good. Oh, you know what? We got rained on pretty good about 3 days ago, okay? And I'm coming home from work, and like, there was water on the highway. So I'm driving about 20 below the speed limit. The speed limit on that part of the 40 is 100, and I think I was going 80. And just ahead of me, there was a Prius. Those who know best call it a Prius, but, you know, we're all North Americans here. There's a Prius trying to get off an exit to go onto Cavendish. You guys don't know it, but it's sort of a major road. And last minute, he realized he didn't want to take that turn. So like right at, you know, the stone or the cement angle, he suddenly swings back, and hydroplanes just right, you know, right across my bow. So of course, when I tried to brake, I started hydroplaning. Now I've only hydroplaned once in my life, and what I did then was I didn't try to brake or anything. I just took my foot off the gas, and the car slowed down, and I got control. And so that's what I did this time. He was just far enough ahead of me that when he sort of skidded, I don't know how the hell, you know, he came and he was hydroplaning and like, whew, you know, so we missed each other, and I consider that good, because I've already had enough car accidents for 1 month. Hey Simon, comment ça va, man? Travaille dans working in the backyard today, getting the new electric cable layout between my house and garage. Okay, he's gonna watch later. So yeah, where did I put it? Oh yeah. So anyways, I've read this book from cover to cover. I did that a few years ago, and I've been flipping through it again to look at maybe something semi-permanent. Some of these shelters are really big productions, but some of them are pretty easy. I kind of like the one that Scrambled Oat made. I mean, he's not perfectly happy with it, but something about that shelter really talks to me. I like it. Maybe I'll just rewatch all of his shelter videos and copy his. Oh, and I love what Zed Outdoors is doing right now. That looks like it's going to be really cool. Just realized the object of sitting down here was to put the books away, so I better get a start on that. Oh, it's funny. I was watching Zed Outdoors, his latest in his shelter series, where they did an overnighter there, and it's Zed Outdoors, I think, is vegetarian, and so he had these, like, I think it was a corn-based sausage that he was cooking for the two of them. And they chowed down, and apparently it was really good. It was by, I think it's a Linda McCartney brand, which I don't even know if we have in North America, but anyway. I love watching Zed Outdoors for three reasons. One, he's a great freaking guy. Two, sometimes I feel that Bushcraft is a little kind of white, and I wonder what is happening in society that makes it such a white pastime. And I really like seeing guys who are not, you know, white English speaking or German or French speaking dudes doing this, because it means that somewhere we're doing something right. We're not like blocking people through, you know, obviously not on purpose, but you know. And third, you don't see a lot of guys doing the vegetarian thing in bushcraft or in survival. You know, you cut a bushcrafter and he bleeds bacon. You know, so I always like it when someone who's not the cliched bushcrafter gets into this, because it helps us, and it helps. Well, obviously something in bushcraft appeals to Zed and to Camille and all these guys who don't fit into the kind of white bread cubicle that I fit into, you know. Anyway, but the biggest thing is that he's a great guy, and his videos are always interesting, especially because he works hard to get experts onto his screen, showing spoon carving, showing making wooden pegs, showing, you know, he goes to all the shows. That guy's working his ass off, so he deserves every bit of success he's gotten. I'll write him down. Again, you guys don't need me to help you know who he is, probably, but just in case. Here's a book I haven't used yet, because even though I got the book, I'd really rather take a course before I go digging through the wild for my food. If any of you guys watch Fox Company Prepping, he poisoned himself once. I think it was last year or the year before. He was doing something with mushrooms, not for food. I think it was just, I don't know. I don't remember what he was doing. But he was playing with mushrooms, and he didn't wash his knife off, and he made his food, and he poisoned himself. So he was sick for a little while. Lofty Wiseman. A true classic, SAS Survival Handbook. Here's the thing about Lofty. And here's the thing, I don't like this about any of the, most of sort of the famous survivalists and bushcrafters. I don't like how they're all dissing each other all the time. Like, I've heard all of them diss Bear Grylls. You can either agree or not agree. I've heard Lofty diss Bear Grylls and Ray Mears. I see Bear and Ray in two completely different categories, so I don't really, I don't see why they're even really stuck together, because one is clearly survival, one is clearly bushcrafting. He does some survival, but that's not his main focus. But the thing I have to give Bear Grylls credit for is that he's the only one of these guys who I've never heard diss another one. Oh, sorry. Anthony, what brand is the 12 string? Oh. This was a gift from my dad. Yamaki. It's absolutely not in tune, so actually it's not bad, but it's not really in tune. And I'm not going to take the time to tune a 12 string on camera because it always makes me swear. How come you're not working over here? There we go. Oh, and the 6 string, just in case, is a Norman. Best bang for your buck you're going to find, in my opinion. Oh, and of course, one of my babies. Boom, baby. Fender P5. Man, the P bass is an ugly beast, but I just love this thing. my expensive base is still in the case somewhere. So yeah, that's why, like, you know, I don't have the same opinion about Bear Grylls as a lot of guys do, because he seems to be the only one who isn't dissing another TV survivalist. Bought this on a whim. I don't think anyone needs this book. I really don't. This is like a dead basic book. I mean, it's a very pretty book, but we live in the YouTube world where everything in this book you can find for free online. And I spent, it's 25 I'll start that again. It's 25 American dollars or $28.99 in perfectly good Canadian dollars. So, you know, I don't know. I bought it. I flipped through it once or twice, but I've never actually used it. Jack O'Connor, baby. He's the 270 king. This book is old. I've read it. You know, it's not the kind of book you read multiple times, but I've read it twice. This is not, like, this book came out in 1949, but this actual physical one is from, I'm trying to look, it's from 60-something. It's not a first edition. If it was, it would be in a Mylar bag or something. 1964. I bought this because my, I don't really talk about it a lot because, you know, Canadian, but I own two rifles. One's a .22 Remington that is disappointing, a semi-auto, and the other is a 2008 Winchester Model 70 in 270 Winchester. And I'm with Jack on the 270. I think it's a fabulous cartridge. Now, I like old cartridges. I don't like any of these new fire-breathing dragons. You know, I don't go for newfangled stuff. I like, you know, basic. I like time-honored, and it's just an aesthetic thing. It's not a, you know, the 270 is better than blah. It's just I like old. If I could afford to buy a lever action right now, it would be 30. It'd be 30-30. You know. I'm trying to think of something else I would maybe get it in, and my mind is blanking, but like something old, you know? Another Jack O'Connor. I don't know why the hell I got this, because like the thing is, showing these books, it makes me come off as a gun nut, and I'm kind of not. Like, I'm not going to buy a Glock. I think they're ugly. You know, but I'm into technology. Okay, I think that anything, which is funny because of what I just said about my favorite rounds, but I think that anything that moves technology along or changes the world in its market is interesting. You know. So that's why I got the Glock book, because the story behind it is much more fascinating to me than the actual pistols are. Okay, Anthony says that everything on camera is backwards, and I've noticed that before when I'm live streaming. I don't know why. I don't get it. But yes, I'm actually right-handed. So if I hold this up, you're reading that backwards, right? Yeah. This is A Pocket Guide to Trees by Rutherford Platt. Yeah. I've got a couple of tree books. This one's pretty cool, you know, and everything, but it's really fragile. Like, XN Bomb is here. Maybe, but he says it's so that I see myself like in a mirror, which is exactly what's happening, but it's, you know, hey, look, everything's backwards. Anyways, the reason I don't bring this book out is because it's getting very fragile. So I've got two very good guides. This is getting really scrappy looking because this is the one I carry with me, okay? It's the Golden Field Guides, the St. Martin's Press, Trees of North America, because I'm North American. And this is a really cool one, but it's too big for me to carry around. The Audubon Society's Field Guide to Trees. And I think, is this? Yeah, Eastern Region. So these books are huge, and they're region. I think it's just East and West. I don't think there's a Heartlands one, I don't think. But anyways, all three of these are good. It's just this one is really long in the tooth. I'll look into that backwards thing, guys. I'll find out why. The Happy Camper. An Essential Guide to Life Outdoors. Who's this by? Kevin Callan. Callan? Whatever. I haven't read this one yet. I only recently got it. It's got like some, choosing the perfect campsite. Knots. Snapshot memories. That's, I guess, taking pictures. It's got some, somewhere in here there's some winter camping, boating. I don't know. Somewhere in here there are recipes and stuff. Probably for s'mores. Because that requires a recipe, right? This I haven't read yet, but I picked it up just because I gotta know what this person's talking about. A Vegetarian's Hunt for Sustenance, The Mindful Carnivore. After a childhood spent fishing for trout, Tovar Cerulli began to experiment with vegetarianism in his teens. By the age of 20, he was a vegan. A decade later, in the face of declining health, he returned to omnivory and within a few years found himself heading into the woods, rifle in hand. Through his personal quest, Cerulli bridges the seemingly disparate worldviews of hunting and vegetarianism. Can fishing and hunting be respectful ways for humans to connect with nature for food? How harmless is vegetarianism? How do we make peace with the fact that life is sustained by death? Okay, I'm not going to read all of this. He has Tenenbaum says that Kevin has a YouTube channel. You know what? I'm going to look that up. And I'm going to take a note. Kevin Callan. Well, how does he pronounce it? Oh, you can't. You're typing. So yeah, I haven't had time to read this yet, but I'm going to at some point. But it's funny because it feeds into the reason why I took up hunting. Well, there are two things. First of all, the missus's family is hunters, and I was the type of guy who'd always said, if you're gonna eat meat, you've got to be cognizant of the fact that meat doesn't come in a styrofoam pack. If you're gonna eat meat, you gotta know where it comes from. You gotta be, you gotta personalize that. And I was at a party espousing, I was in my 20s, one of these know-it-alls, and saying this, because I'd also sort of experimented with vegetarianism for a little while, but it wasn't for me because I was not willing to do that much work to make sure I got my protein because I was getting gray. Anyway, so I'm espousing this self-important crap in a party. Forgot to put my mic on. Sorry, guys. And someone said, okay, so do you hunt? No. Could you hunt? And I said, yeah. Sure. And so 20 years later, no, not quite, probably about 15 or 18 years later, I had the opportunity to test that. And here's the thing. I was brought up as a good Quebecois, okay? I brought up extremely gun averse, okay? And I still have to deal with that. I'm not in love with guns. My Winchester, I think very highly of because it's a special edition with extra nice wood and all this stuff, and because I knew that I had to get something exciting to overcome the oh my effing god, I'm buying a gun aspect of what I was doing. But anyways, it's neither here nor there at the moment. What's this? Time-saving guide to creating great gardens. I worked on this when I was at Reader's Digest. What do we got here? On this book, I'm the one who wrote the the flap text, all this, and the Reader's Digest edition. I'm just seeing if there are any more. Yeah, this is all Reader's Digest stuff. This is not going to interest anyone. So I'll put these away a little later. I've still got more of those, but I don't know where. Oh, also, 1 second. I'm unsure if I've shown you guys this. Probably have. My memory's not so great, but it's something that came from Finland. Finland. This is interesting to anyone who heard me talk about looking for a knife for the cuteling. This is by Sakaniki. I'm gonna do an actual video on this because I've also got an epic ton of birch bark. So I'm gonna do a series on this knife, and at that point, that's stupid. I'll put up like his information and stuff. Spoiler alert, it's a really well-made knife. It's really, really nice. It's sharp as hell, as I found out when I first received it. But oh man, I just love this thing. I may have to get myself one, in fact. But you know, that's neither here nor there right now. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in the workshop. I also built a temporary workbench in there for when I'm doing my axes and stuff. Interesting thing I wanted to mention about stuff like this is that, I mean, a lot of you guys know about the whole YouTube Adpocalypse, and then it seemed to sort of calm down, and then it's gone right back up. And it's like anyone whose channels are heavily weapon related are really getting dinged. And you know what, if you have a gun channel, yeah, you're going to piss some people off, and that's going to affect advertisers. Okay, I get it. It pisses me off, but I get it. But here's the thing. If you've got a channel like Lindy Beige, who is not a gun channel, but he's a historian, a war historian. He talks a lot about tanks. Yeah, he's talked about, you know, historical rifles. He's talked about swords. He's got a lot of swords and, you know, things like that. I mean, he's not saying anything that should be pissing off an advertiser. He's not standing there and like, from my cold dead handing. Do you know what I'm saying? He's talking about historical events. In fact, he's writing a graphic novel about, I think it's Attila the Hun. I'm not sure. But I'm just giving myself a note to put a note to him in the show notes, because yeah, he's got an interesting channel. But a lot of his channel has been demonetized by YouTube because it's all algorithms. There's no thought behind it, right? But the thing is, he makes his living off of YouTube. And so these algorithms are affecting his living. Scott from Wessex Blades, who most of you have probably seen, but if you haven't, he's a knife maker. That's what he does. And he uses YouTube as a way of keeping his business humming. You know? XN Bomb, yes. XN Bomb has watched Lindy Beige. He's a great guy. I would love to do a video with him someday. big ocean between us. But, you know, who did I just mention? Wessex Blades. You know, these guys are looking at potentially career-ending moves by YouTube in the name of advertiser dollars. And I think, you know, to a certain extent, guys like Philip DeFranco, guys who are that big can shield themselves, right? Because Philip DeFranco, he's got his Philip DeFranco Elite or whatever it is, you know, where people are subscribing to him, you know, for a monthly charge. You know, there's what's it called? There's Patreon, which I will probably be doing sometime in 2018. Just because now that I'm finally working, it's great, but I'm still not making enough that I can replace the video making stuff that's been failing on me over the past year. But I'm trying to figure out a way to do that where it's not unfair to people who aren't paying. I have to come up with extras to give rather than things to take away, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to piss anyone off. Anyone who's been a subscriber to me can't lose stuff in the name of a Patreon of a Patreon reality. But like, there are these ways that, you know, once you're above a certain number of subs, you can get away with. But littler, we're gonna call that a word, okay? But littler channels like mine, if YouTube takes away the AdSense, there's nothing you can really fill that with. I definitely don't depend on YouTube for my living. I don't make enough videos for it to become a factor, though I would love to. So I'm not complaining for my own benefit here. In fact, I haven't had anything demonetized yet. But it's just, I don't like where the future might be going on the YouTubes. I can't stop looking at this thing, man. Can't stop looking. Boom. Man, when I was a kid, Lego never did that. I better go find those. I'll do it after this video. But anyway, so this Adpocalypse thing is really, man, I get a dismal feeling from it, you know? Hold on, I'll be right back. And because, you know, I want to do more, it will affect me more as time goes on. Especially, man, I gotta make 2018 my year, because I've been really down about 2017 in terms of the YouTubeage. You know, like, because I kind of see YouTube as a kind of a therapy. Like, I do it as a therapeutic thing. Keeps me from freaking out. It's fairly important to me, you know, and all you guys who are subs and viewers, and especially those of you who are, you know, hey, but especially those of you who are talking to myself and to each other down in the comments, and the ones who've reached out to me through Instagram and stuff. I mean, these are things that are important to me. And it pisses me all the way off that YouTube is acting against this community in this way. They don't see it that way, I don't think, but it's hard not to see it as a strike against the YouTuber, you know? What's this? So yeah, I would love to find a place to... here's another book that I did. Everyday Arthritis Solutions. Eat well, move well, ease the pain, feel your best. This is not the kind of stuff that makes me fun at parties. But yeah, so for the year ahead, man, I'd really like to kick it up a notch. But it's like every year I say that, and then it doesn't happen. I'm saying it next year because, as some of you know, the wife is working far away until December 21st. So I'm not making, it's not realistic. That's why, like, I've been kind of absent lately, is because I don't have time. I mean, I'm not panicked over being a temporary single dad or anything. You know, it's just that I don't have time. because the missus is home on the weekends. So on the weekends, it should really be family time, you know. And I'm building a fence in the back and stuff like that. So at some point next year, I'm gonna get this crap squared away, man. I'm gonna figure it out somehow. You know, I want to be getting more videos up. I want to have enough subs that that when I contact someone to do a review of their whatever axe saw thing, that I've got the numbers to back that up and make me interesting to them. You know, and I want to reach a milestone so that I can do another giveaway. I like doing giveaways. I've only done a couple of them, but I like them. I like sending my stuff out. I like sending stuff out to you guys. So I'm thinking that at 3,000, I'll do another giveaway. I've got some stuff sitting there waiting for a giveaway that I've had sitting there for months. You know, maybe 2,500 will be where I do my giveaway. Because right now I think I'm around just under 22. And a couple of you have said, get outside. You'll make more of an impact if you just get the hell outside. And I absolutely believe that. I absolutely do. 2018's got to be my year. Another thing I'm going to do is, my wife comes back the 21st, the 22nd, I'm junking my car. Right now, just 2 weeks ago, I spent a few hundred on it. Manifold and the catalytic I'm going to try that one more time. The manifold and the catalytic converter were both rusted out. And now, yesterday while I was driving home from work, something went pop, and suddenly the engine was really revving hard, but I wasn't getting a lot of oomph. And so I got home, I looked underneath, and there was like it looked like a little rubber tube had fallen off. It was like hanging. So I was going to drive it to the garage today. I went to turn it on, and nothing. And so when I looked back, I sort of tried to crawl under the car, but I'm too fat. So I just sort of took my phone, snapped a close-up shot, and looks like it's an electrical thing. So I went to drive to the garage. Nothing. Lights didn't even come on. So I got a buddy coming over a little later today with a jack. We're going to see if we can just reconnect it. If not, I'll call CAA. But it's just, you know, this car's costing me money I don't have. I was planning to just junk it in spring, but if I can just get rid of it as soon as the wife is home, absolutely. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Did I have anything else to talk to you guys about? I'll put my books up. I want to talk about books, shelters. I was kind of thinking of doing a series on making coffee in the bush. Here's the thing, I'm a tea drinker, okay? For me, coffee has always been a professional thing. Like, I worked at Starbucks for 3.5 years a while ago. And as a freelancer, to make ends meet, I was working at one of those third wave coffee places. And got to use a really nice machine working there. But like, I've always interfaced with coffee as a quality control thing. You know, when you're working at a cafe, you're always tasting. You're always making sure that, you know, if someone says, I'm looking for something not too fruity, maybe a little earthy, you'll be able to say, okay, it's that African, that Kenyan over there, or, you know, or that blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for something kind of mid-rangey. Well, here's one from Colombia that's sort of on the light side, but not too much. You know, you got to know this stuff. So you got to be able to taste coffee. And so what it means is I know how to make a really good cup of coffee, even though I don't get up in the morning and pound back a cup of Joe. So I was wondering if maybe I should do a series on coffee. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that worth it? I don't know. Because the thing about making coffee, there are two ways to do it. One is, you know, you've got a paper cone, in one of those, you know, those machines that everyone's got, and that's not interesting, and it doesn't make a good cup. But then you got all these things like a Chemex and the, you know, the mocha pot and all this stuff, and it's like the more pageantry you add to the making of the coffee, the better the drink is. Especially because as soon as you take away the paper filter, the oils, the coffee's oils, don't get sapped away by the filter. You know, like when you use a metal filter, those oils go into the cup. How did I? Oh yeah, it's because I was thinking of maybe doing a series on making coffee in the bush, like cowboy coffee, and maybe a outdoors mocha pot or something. Kind of thinking of doing some cooking videos, either in the bush or stuff to take to the bush, like that one I made on not pemmican. I didn't do pemmican. I would like to do pemmican. What did I do it on? Jerky. One channel that I watch a lot is Townsend's. Now Townsend's is not a Bushcraft channel, okay? What they do is they run a store in, I don't know, one of those small states of stuff for reenactors. They specialize in the 18th century, and like their set is an 18th century kitchen, and they do all these cooking videos of foods that they find in 18th century cookbooks. But one thing I noticed while watching these guys, because I'm not a reenactor, okay, I don't go for that kind of stuff. I'm not SCA or any of that. I'm not a Klingon, or you know, I don't go in for that kind of stuff. But what I like about the Townsend stuff is that all these skills are very similar to Bushcraft skills, because when you were cooking in 1788, a lot of the stuff you did is stuff that we do for fun in the bush. You know, you're lighting a fire in your earthen oven or whatever, or you're cooking just on an open hearth or whatever, and you're snapping a fire into being with a flint and steel, and like these foods were made without a refrigerator in mind, you know, and so like a lot of the skills are very similar, and a lot of the foods come off as really good. If not, like, you know, we grew up in a world where there's a sushi place over there, there's pizza over there, there's a Korean place just down the street. Over there you can get a schnitzel. Like there's all these options, all these flavor options, all these Indian place over there and over there and over there, because this is Montreal. That stuff wasn't open to people, say 300 years ago, 400 years ago. You know, the cooking was very, very local in its flavors, in its availability. And I get enchanted by that stuff. So maybe I'll try some of that stuff. Eggs and bomb. Bush cooking is an interesting topic too. Yeah, right? And also, as he says, a lot of you guys are real coffee drinkers. And so I figure, you know, I love the reaction I get when I do a video that is something that a lot of you guys are into. More so than when it's just something that I'm into. Because sometimes I'll do a video on stuff that I think is very, very cool. Oh no! Bushcraft Heroes just started a live stream. And that's my computer telling me the same thing. I'll cut it out real soon so that you guys can all go over there. But anyway, I like doing videos that everyone is interested in, because sometimes I'll do something that really interests me but not a lot of other people, and I get like 50 views. And you know, my entire sense of self-worth is dependent on views. But anyways, if there's something you guys want to see, drop it down below. You know, because just getting bush time for 2018 is great, but just getting bush time and doing a bunch of videos that are going to make the Rain Dance Bushcraft community more active, that's better. Oh, I keep... Look, I grew up shit-eating poor, so we never had a lot of Lego in my house. And, like, I was a kid in the 70s, right? They didn't make Lego like this back then. So like I'm discovering Lego with my daughter. I'm just enchanted by what had to go into coming up with this design. Anyways, I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna step away from it. But yeah, I don't know. That's about it. I'm gonna try to get some videos. Man, I've got something shot, but I don't have enough to put a video together and put it up yet. It's about something I recently got for shooting with the phone. But you know, now that I've got a job and I'm making some actual money, I'm starting to look at that Canon 80D again. Maybe I can do it, you know? Maybe not this year, but maybe early 2018. It depends. I don't know. I would really like it. I really would. I miss shooting with a big lens and having that kind of control over my image. I know that to most of the people watching this, it doesn't matter. It's, do I sound good and am I telling a good story? That matters. But to me, as someone who went to school to make movies, I like having that kind of control. You know, maybe. I don't know yet. I don't know. But I'm gonna get off right now because if Bushcraft Heroes is doing a live video, then my audience has disappeared anyway. So I'll speak to you guys later. See you around, and as I said, leave me some notes below about anything you want me to talk about or anything you guys want me to talk about. So even though it's a live stream, I'm going to say what I always do. If you like what I'm doing, then please comment down below, share the videos, subscribe, ring that little bell, and leave me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, leave me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.